Hey Mike, I walked by this car and it blew me away. I haven't seen a Rampage in years. Why did you choose a Rampage?
Well, you know, they only built them for 3 years, 82, 3, and 4, so they're pretty rare. There was not a lot of them built. So I wanted to build something mid-engine for a long time. It's been in my head. I looked at Fieros. I looked at lots of different things. When I bought Arrington Performance, I moved it from Virginia to Michigan.
Okay.
And there was a barbecue place down there that I would go for lunch. I made 15 trips to Virginia to pick up inventory and parts, you know, just equipment, everything. So anyway, I go down and I'm sitting in this restaurant looking out the front window. There's a closed down auto repair shop across the street. And sitting there is an abandoned Rampage. Just destroyed, you know, it's rusted away, it's absolute junk, but it's a Rampage. So I'm looking at that, and I see it all the time when I'm there, and it's like, God, that thing is so cool, you know. I just wonder if that could be my mid-engine. So I went out on Google and did a bunch of searching, and I found the original body drawings that Dodge did for the Rampage.
Wow.
So I had all the dimensions. I already knew what the Hemi engine was. I knew I wanted to use a Mendiola transaxle. I knew I needed to adapt them. I mean, I knew all of that. So I knew overall the dimension. So I laid the Hemi out, laid it out into that package. We come 9 inches into the passenger compartment, but there's plenty of room behind the seat for that. But we didn't even have to move the wheel wells. We were able to put the axles right into the wheel well.
Lined right up.
Yep. So that started my search. So I'm looking and looking and looking, and all I can find are rusted out pieces of junk, right? The deal with doing a Rampage like this, you can't buy a single aftermarket part.
Oh, I bet.
You can't buy a weather strip, you can't buy a door handle, you can't buy anything, right? So you need a really nice one if you're going to try and build a high-end car.
Sure.
So I'm looking and looking and looking. One day on my Facebook feed, a picture pops up of one, and a friend of mine had put it up. So it looked clean. I'm like, where's that at? Where's that at? So he says, oh, I don't know where it's at. He said, another guy gave me his name, who happened to be Dave, who's one of the co-hosts of Dirt Every Day. He's a good friend. He had taken the picture and put it up. So I call him, and it's in Spokane, Washington. It's on a used car lot called Gospel Mission Motors. Right?
What a name.
It's a one-owner truck. It belonged to a lady, a senior lady, and when she got so she couldn't drive, she donated to the church. So then they're selling it. So I call them up, and I'm like, yeah, you got this Rampage. I'm interested in buying it. I said, you know, they said, well, you'd come drive it, and then we can. I said, no, that's not how this works. I said, we're going to agree on a price. I'm going to wire transfer you money, and then a big semi is going to pull up in front. We're going to load it in it, and they're going to bring it to me in Michigan. Oh, we don't do that.
Why?
We won't sell it to you if you don't come drive it. It has an oil leak, and one of the boots on the front axle shaft is cracked.
Hey.
No, you don't understand. We're going to put this thing up in the air on a hoist, and we're going to cut the entire bottom out of it with a plasma cutter. All that stuff's going to hit the ground, and then we're going to build it into what we want. Took me 3 weeks to convince them to sell it to me. They
crazy.
wouldn't take a wire transfer. I had to write a physical check, and I FedExed it to them overnight. It was just, I mean, it was all of that, right? But in the end, I had a 13,000-mile, one-owner Dodge Rampage.
To start with.
So we blew it apart, and we built this.
So what did you do since you moved the engine back? What's under there?
Fuel cell, radiator. We built a full tube chassis. The control arms and uprights are C7 Corvette. Has huge bare brakes all around it. It's 8 inches wider than it originally started. All of the flares are handmade steel. All of the fronts, all carbon fiber and aluminum. The rear balance is handmade steel. We built everything in this truck. I mean, built the roll cage.
Excellent work.
Oh, thank you. It has air conditioning. It has 1,000 watts of Pioneer audio. The one-off Forge Line wheels, and I gave Forge Line my dimensions, and we had to. They have the most back space they could ever do at 8.5 inches in a 12-inch wheel. I mean, every piece about this is custom. So we built it at my. I have 2 companies. We built the truck at Diversified Creations in Brighton, Michigan, and we built the engine at Arrington Performance.
The work behind getting that in the back of here.
Yeah, it was. The suspension mounting points for this was actually a frame that Factory 5 designed for a kit car they do called a GTM.
Okay.
The GTM uses a rear engine, and it's designed for a LS. And obviously we did a Hemi. So it's a 6.4 Hemi. We built it through Arrington, as I said. It's got forged pistons and rods in it. It has CNC ported heads on it. It has an Arrington camshaft in it, pretty radical camshaft. It's got boreless stack injection. We CNC'd the extension, so the original stacks are that tall. We made these to raise them.
Right.
And we kind of did that last minute because as we were building this, we built this truck complete, everything, in 10 weeks.
That's amazing.
So we were debuting it at SEMA in 2019. To get that, we put this together, and we didn't realize this bar was here. So it's structure for the cab, but the stacks wouldn't clear it.
Oh, okay.
So we're either going to have to cut the stack or machine extensions. I want them taller anyway. It raises the torque to do that.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. The engine makes 650 horsepower.
Wow.
The headers, we made all of those. That was actually an LS kit. So I have a relationship with Cook's Headers. I had them send me an LS take-apart turbo forward-facing kit, just unassembled, and a set of Hemi flanges. So we built those headers, turned them around the other way,
I thought, yep.
And made all the headers and routed all the tubing.
Put the right on the left on the right, and then the rest.
Yeah.
Wow. It's amazing. And it doesn't get driven on the street much, does it?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah, I've driven it on Hot Rod Power Tour.
Okay.
I've raced it. I ran, when I debuted it at SEMA, and I won an Optima Invitational Gold ticket to race. So I literally left SEMA, drove it out of the convention center into Las Vegas traffic, fought the traffic to the expressway, got an expressway, and drove it like 30 miles out to the racetrack. Raced it all day on Saturday, ran an autocross, ran a speed stop. Then on Saturday night, I drove it back through Las Vegas on the road rally, which is 100 miles. Did that, then drove it back to the racetrack, and on Sunday, raced on the road course at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and then loaded in a car hauler on Sunday night and sent it home.
Wow. That says something about your work, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like having to do that, but we can.
It looks awesome. I couldn't imagine someone's face pulling up next to that and seeing that.
Yeah, when you drive it on the highway and on the road, I drove it on Power Tour last year, and people just like freak out when they see it, right? Because it's really low and it's wide, and but it's a Mendiola transaxle, so it's made for a high jumper buggy. So it's a 5-speed manual. Fourth and fifth are overdrives.
Yep.
So I can run, it's got a 410 ring and pinion, but at 80 miles an hour, it runs 2,400 RPM.
Wow. Amazing. Well, thanks for taking the time.
Hey, anytime. Appreciate you guys being here.
Great work.
Thank you.
Yep.